Okay, this is from the Behavioral Health and Wellness Department at Beaverton, Oregon for parents. Stay tuned for tips on helping your child be resilient and be prepared for learning as we go into um, distance learning. So stay tuned.
Do you girls want some lunch? Because we have to leave Amelia in about an hour. Let me get you some.
So what we're going to share with you today, parents, is briefly just getting your kiddo in a space to be ready to learn via distance learning. And I don't think that's a small hurdle. It's kind of a big hurdle. We have to acknowledge all of the things that have happened to us over the last few months. And just simply the fact that when you show up to be on a computer that you can get wound up. So understand that there are some things that we're going to share with you today that not everybody has is in the same spot, but understanding also that the tips and tricks that we're going to share with you will greatly increase your kiddo's chance of being successful during comprehensive distance learning. The first quote that I'd like to share with you here is simply by a doctor named Dr. Bruce Perry. The most powerful buffer in times of stress and distress is our social connectedness. So let's all remember to stay physically distant, but emotionally close. So reach out and connect. Even a short text or smile on Zoom will help regulate, relate, and reason. And the last three R's are going to be the focus of our video. So regulate, relate, and reason is a process of getting yourself and information in your brain moved from the limbic system, which is kind of that fight or flight space in your brain that's not very bright, but it does serve a purpose. And if you think about the hand in the brain, this is my brain stem, and information moves up. It first hits that, there are different names for it: limbic system, sympathetic system, or frankly, people call it like the reptilian brain. And that is when things are crazy, or scary, this reacts mostly. And if we fold this part of our hand over, this front part here would be the cortex. And this is the thinking brain, the reasoning brain. And so when we show up to things like this, whether they're events that we perceive are going to be unpleasant, or things are happening in our life that are making life difficult for us, sometimes we have a separation between that limbic system or reptilian brain and the thinking brain. So the tips we're giving you today are going to help you get your kiddo here so that they're ready to learn. So regulation, relate, and then reason. It goes without saying that, again, not all the kids are showing up to our classes in the exact same spots. We want to make sure that we afford them that opportunity to be able to get to that spot where they can reason and learn. This again is showing you that hand and brain. What would be nice to know is that to have a plan in place before you show up to learn. So step one would be to kind of reframe the behavior that you're seeing in the kiddo. If they're reluctant to show up to learning, perhaps it's easier to get them to start thinking about that just even being there is something that we have to reframe. So it's not just, hey, go on the computer and learn, but it's, hey, why don't you just check out what's going on the screen? So taking a little baby step to get on there and having a plan. Step two, realizing that this is triggering and talking about that with your kiddo would also help. So if it's something they don't really enjoy, or it's something that they really don't find that they're in power of, or they're in control of, helping them understand that these are things that will not only help them, but that they do have control over when they come on and when they leave. but that more importantly, they are need to be invested for their future. Reducing the stress is a really big one as far as that step 3. And reducing stress could look like a lot of different things. It could be a breathing activity. It could be a myriad of things beforehand. So let's look at some things that Bruce Perry would recommend to us to do to reduce that stress, to put your kid in a place to learn. And these are the real big ones I'd like you to take away today, especially from this presentation. Those are building a daily structure. Having a daily structure for your kid not only gives them predictability, and that predictability begets comfort, but it also creates predictability for you. So that having a daily structure is wonderful. And if you're having a difficult time with that, please reach out to your school's counselor or your student success coach or your school's admin for more support with that. Secondly, family meals are another way to build capacity to be able to show up to these events. The discussions that happen at family meals allow you and afford you opportunities to understand what's going on with your kiddo more. Limit the media. They're already going to be spending lots and lots of time on computer, and we've noticed that media is pretty dysregulating, so kind of does this. So limiting that before they get on is great. So if your kid I know my daughters, they love to wake up in the morning and go right to their iPads to watch some YouTube videos. When school starts, that gets limited. So we limit that amount of exposure to media before they jump into their learning. Exercise. There's going to be another parent video on this, but consider what kind of exercise they're getting and how that's getting them ready and getting their bodies ready to learn. Reaching out to others. There's a great deal of research out there that shows that when you care for others, you greatly build up your own capacities for taking care of yourself. So reaching out to others, even little kids reaching out to other little kids. A quick example of that. My daughter and I started learning how to skateboard this summer. And we started going to skate parks. And I was absolutely blown away by the number of kids that go over to other kids and ask if can I help you with that move that you're trying to make? Oh, you almost got this, but just try this little part on your skateboard. And my daughter seemed to really kind of transcend her abilities really quickly. So those reaching out to others and helping others is something that can also give your kiddo a great chance of showing up to class ready to learn. Sleep and hygiene are obvious ones, and our district has incredible resources. If the hygiene is not an easy thing, we would like to be able to support that, but sleep is an important one. And last but not least, a look at the future in a way that helps them focus. So that helps kind of ground the why they're showing up. Helping them see a positive look into the future, a positive aspects on impact on themselves by showing up. And showing up is literally their job. Once they show up, they'll find the next step. And again, there's going to be a video on breaking things up into a series of smaller parts as parents, which will help our kids. Another way to help your kiddos show up and take in as much as they can and be part of their learning as much as they can is having these mindfulness moments. I'd like to talk to you a little bit about patterns and dosing. So our brains only need a couple of seconds to a couple of minutes to redirect any kind of situation that's going on. So if we're here with a good couple of minutes or a few seconds of mindfulness, whether it's breathing or taking off your shoes and rubbing your feet in the carpet or doing jumping jacks or push-ups, whatever that mindfulness moment is that in a sense diffuses what's happening inside the brain right before they go into learning. That'll help their cortex return and be closer to learning with the information that's coming up the brainstem. So things that you can do with those mindfulness are just be easy on yourself. I mean, this is something that we've never done before, so it's okay to have your expectations come down to a different level, not lower them, but a different level. Redefine your workload. Think about what the workload looks like when you go to school. Help them understand what the workload looks like at home. Shift from this kind of academic drive to more of a taking care of your healthy relationships. And there are more of those here. I'll let you read them. In a sense, though, those mindfulness moments really will help your kiddo be ready. So again, if we go back to what we were talking about before, getting ready for them to learn requires limiting media, but also taking a moment for themselves to get them ready to learn. Lastly, I want to leave the families some strategies for helping you regulate, relate, and reason for the purpose of getting ready to learn. So providing trainings for you, that's what this is. Providing information, we'll try to get these out in multiple languages. I don't speak any other language, but if I could, I would do this in tandem. Want to make sure that you have materials in your hands, so you have many people at your school that could give you articles and data and research on this if you'd like. But also, returning back to Bruce Perry real quick. So many people right now are dysregulated. There's no doubt about it. And I wrote down something that he said when I was listening to him. He said, if you want a good concrete suggestion, start every educational activity with 3 minutes of pattern rhythmic activity. And so this is incumbent upon not only teachers, but parents to, right before they're going to learn, a rhythmic activity, whether it's singing or whether it's clapping or whether it's jumping or whether it's, anything that you find that works for your kiddo, starting helps them get that cortex here ready to learn. This will help them kind of jump over the hurdles that are in front of them. And it'll help you as a parent support your kiddo and you as they're going into this comprehensive distance learning. Come back more for more videos. We'll try to keep them coming. My name is Chris Damiano. I'm the Social Emotional Learning TOSA, kindergarten to 12th grade. I work at the central office with the Behavioral Health and Wellness team, and we're happy to support every school the best we can. We look forward to the school year. We know you can be resilient. We know that we could support you, and we know that your kiddo will be as successful as they can as long as adults, we do our best to put them in a situation to learn.